Coronation Street's Jodie Ramsey finds herself accused of another cruel plot this week, amid her ongoing scheme to steal her sister's life. Viewers know that Jodie is perfectly capable of orchestrating trouble for her own gain, but is she actually guilty this time? Ever since her arrival earlier this year, Jodie has been quietly manipulating the Platts after feeling like her sister Shona abandoned her. Things escalated when Jodie tried to sleep with her brother-in-law David as revenge for Shona ignoring her childhood letters. The newcomer was asked to move out and struck up an unusual bond while staying with Daniel Osborne. However, their friendship collapsed when Daniel discovered Jodie had been trolling him online, and she was forced to return to the Platt house. In Sunday's episode, David and Shona excitedly prepare to mark a special milestone for their daughter Harper, who has been in the hospital since her birth. But when David can't find the 5-month milestone card, it disrupts their photo shoot plans. With tensions already high between the pair, Shona is furious and berates David for losing the card. David, however, is adamant that Jodie had something to do with the hiccup and is quick to point the finger. Is this all part of Jodie's plan to split the couple up? Or could it be a genuine mistake? Jodie has caused so much trouble that it's really no surprise she gets the blame, explains our Corey source. She has form for causing trouble for the sake of it, and we've seen her randomly steal things before. David is rapidly losing patience with Jodie and is deeply uncomfortable over having her back under his roof after she tricked him into climbing into bed with her a few weeks ago. Is it only a matter of time before the Platt family dynamic reaches breaking point? In Weatherfield, rumors travel faster than the tram, and this week, they've hit boiling point. Tension grips the cobbles of Coronation Street as Jodie Walker finds herself at the center of a storm she claims she never started. Accused of yet another cruel plot against someone close to her, Jodie is once again fighting to clear her name, but the question hanging over everyone's lips is simple: is she really innocent this time, or has she finally been caught out? The spark that lit the fire. It all begins with what seems like a harmless misunderstanding. Jodie, known for her sharp tongue and even sharper instincts, has never been everyone's favorite resident. Some admire her honesty, others call her calculating. But when resident cafe worker Maria Connor discovers a series of anonymous messages hinting at a planned sabotage of the cafe's supplier deal, suspicion immediately turns toward Jodie. Why? Because only a week earlier, Jodie had a heated argument with Maria over business decisions, loudly declaring that some people wouldn't last a day running a proper business on this street. That comment alone is enough to plant doubt. So when the supplier suddenly backs out of a long-awaited deal, leaving Maria's business plans in jeopardy, whispers begin. And in Weatherfield, whispers are as good as accusations. The anonymous messages. Things escalate when more evidence surfaces. A series of text messages sent to the supplier appear to come from someone with inside knowledge of the cafe's operations. The messages are subtle but damaging, suggesting instability, financial trouble, and better opportunities elsewhere. Maria is devastated. Business partner Steve McDonald is furious. And almost instantly, Jodie is called in for questioning by her neighbors rather than any authority, because in the street, social judgment comes first. Jodie insists she had nothing to do with it. I don't have time to sabotage anyone's business, she snaps. Unlike some people, I've actually got a life. But her alibi is shaky. She was seen near the cafe's back office on the night the first message was sent. Alone. Old enemies resurface. As suspicion grows, so does the list of people willing to believe Jodie is guilty. Leanne Battersby is the first to voice what others are thinking. Even Steve, who had been ready to confront Jodie directly, begins to hesitate. Something doesn't add up. A second suspect emerges. The breakthrough comes when Tim Metcalf notices something odd in the cafe's security system. One of the camera feeds had been briefly disabled, not hacked from outside, but switched off manually from inside the building. That narrows the list of suspects significantly. Only a handful of people had access to the control panel. And Jodie isn't the only one among them. Attention shifts to someone no one initially suspected, a quiet figure who had recently been overlooked in the chaos of business changes and staff reshuffling. This person had motive too: financial strain, resentment over reduced hours, and a growing sense of being pushed out. The story begins to twist. Maybe Jodie wasn't the mastermind after all. Maybe she was being framed. The confrontation. Tensions explode in the cafe one evening when Jodie finally confronts her accusers head-on. The street gathers outside as voices rise inside. "I didn't do this," Jodie shouts. "You're all so quick to believe the worst because it's easier than thinking properly." Maria fires back, emotional and exhausted. "Then explain everything pointing at you." Silence follows. For a moment, it looks like Jodie might break. Instead, she pulls out her phone and reveals something unexpected: logs showing repeated attempts to access her accounts on the same nights the messages were sent. Someone has been impersonating her digitally. That revelation shifts everything. The truth begins to surface. With help from an unlikely ally, Jodie traces the digital interference back to a shared device used in the cafe office. Fingerprints, login records, and timing all begin to align, not with Jodie, but with someone operating just behind the scenes. The final piece falls into place when the burner phone is recovered from a bin behind the precinct. It contains traces of data syncing with the cafe's Wi-Fi network during off hours. The owner of that phone? Someone trusted. Someone who had easy access. Someone who had been hiding frustration for months under a calm exterior. When confronted, the confession comes quickly. Not because they want to be caught, but because the evidence is overwhelming. The motive is simple: revenge for feeling ignored, undervalued, and replaced. Fallout on the cobbles. The truth hits Weatherfield like a shockwave. Maria is shaken, not just by the sabotage, but by how quickly she turned on Jodie. Steve is left speechless. And Jodie, though cleared, is far from celebratory. "You didn't believe me when it mattered," she says quietly. That says more than anything else. Her words linger long after she walks away. Trust on the street has been fractured again, and this time, it may take longer to repair. But is it really over? As life begins to settle, not everyone is convinced the story is finished. A final scene leaves viewers unsettled. Jodie receives a message on her phone from an unknown number. One line. "You were lucky this time." She stares at it, expression unreadable. Then deletes it. Or does she? Because in Weatherfield, nothing is ever truly over, and every answer seems to create two more questions. And as the camera pulls away from the cobbles, one thought remains. Was Jodie really just a victim, or is there still another layer waiting to be uncovered? Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to Crown Estate.